Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. So hopefully this is gonna be the last video for CNC machines. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, and every time something comes up and I feel like very soon I'm gonna forget what I had to remember after 12 years. So anyway, in this video I want to talk about the control for this machine. But first I want to talk about the problems that I had to go through with this machine after it's been sitting for 12 years. So let's start with the problems. Here's the quick story. So machine was out of service for about 12 or 14 years. This particular machine, the memory, I believe this is 1987 machine, or somewhere in that range. So this particular machine, whenever it uses the batteries, like regular I believe size batteries, to store the memory. So whenever this particular machine is sitting for extended period of time without being powered on, and if the batteries go down, you will lose your parameters. And this particular control has two sets of parameters. One is diagnostics and another set is just parameters. So obviously for 12 years machine has been sitting without being powered on and the batteries went down, but something else happened while it's been in storage. It's been sitting right where it's at, and when I powered this machine on, I got an error message. I can't remember exactly, and I don't think it matters, the code or description of the code, but it had something like RAM parity, memory error, something like that. It was similar error as if you had your batteries go down, but unfortunately there was something else going on with the memory of this machine, because it wouldn't respond to anything. It wouldn't let me enter any parameters. So there was something going on, and according to the book for Fanuc O series controls, that error message means there is something wrong with the main board, and I'll show you in a second that main board. So what I had to do, I actually as I was looking at the main board, I found the traces of moisture kind of running down the circuit board, and a couple of legs on a couple of rams were corroded. So I decided to change those rams, and after I changed them, well, actually let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the back of this machine. And there are a couple of servo drives. This right here is for the spindle. I believe it's for the spindle. These two are for X and Y axis, and this right here is this whole board is the main board. This right here would be a power supply for this board. There's another power supply for other things, and this right here is an input I/O card. So this is the setup for my particular machine. Now this is not an original board. I end up buying another board, but my original one had a rust trace going down these rams, can't remember which one is it. And there were something else, I believe another trace of rust was on these RAMs. So I replaced these, I believe 4 of these and 2 of these, can't remember exactly, but there is also these are also RAMs, but they're go in sockets, and there is, I don't know if you can see, there is four of them, and I think the actual PLC or the parameters that are written and you can't enter are actually in these 2, and those and these, there's another somewhere in here right there, those are for something else. These are an old style RAMs chips, because these are ultraviolet, or I can't remember the photo, I can't remember the name for these. So basically these do go bad over time. After a while, for a long while, like 30 years or 40 years, they tend to start losing the memory. So after I replaced the whatever was rusty, the circuit, well, the screen up front was not showing anything at all, and I thought that possibly I messed something up when I was changing these chips. So from having an error on the screen and nothing else work, I end up not having the screen to work at all. So I couldn't figure out. I bought another board very similar to this particular part number. I bought another board for parts. It was sold as parts only because there was issue. I was trying to use that board as the sort of diagram to do my tests, and I couldn't figure out for a while what was going on. But later, these chips, I bought them brand new, all these chips, and I replaced them. And I actually found out that one of the chips was faulty. The brand new chip was faulty, and I didn't check it when I was installing it, because you know, you're buying a brand new pieces and you kind of expect them to be in working order, but one of them was shorted. The positive and negative side was shorted, so it was shorted on the inside. But anyway, by the time I realized that, I actually already purchased this board, because this is exactly part number as my original board, and this board was in service. It was working. Looks like someone already worked on it, because as you can hopefully see, there are some wires built for some chips. So this was the first issue that I had to go through, and I also found that one of my original chips, can't remember which one, was bad. Well, it's a weird situation. It was not responding when I was trying to read it off the circuit, read program off of it. It would not respond, but later somehow it started working again. So basically the way I found that one of these chips was bad was when I was transferring these chips from my original board to the new one. I realized that the reason why my screen was not coming on, it was because of one of those chips. Anyway, I can't remember exactly the situation, so I'm not gonna confuse you anymore. But what I wanna show is that the PLCs or parameters that are burned to chips, and the ones that you cannot enter, those parameters are in these 2 chips, and they are particular for specific machine. Okay, so the next problem that I had to figure out was this. Let me see, which one is it? This light right here, OL. So I had this light on, and from basically I don't have like a manual, the good manual for this machine. Basically I had to guess a lot of stuff or find stuff online, but online things were very confusing. Some people will say one thing, other people will say completely opposite. But anyway, this light right here, OL, it's an overload. This light is actually tied into the circuit with all of the motors. All of the motors overload switches, I should say, and I'll show you in a second those. So there are several motors on this machine. I want to say 6, maybe more, but the overload switches are actually connected in series, and all of these right here are overload switches, and if one of them will trip, it will trip that light on a control, and it won't let you start the machine. So if overload light is on, you have to check one of these overload switches. Okay, so once I was able to bring machine back to life, to the point where the screen started working, it would power up, it would show the version of the firmware, I believe. From that point you have an option to enter certain parameters if you saved your parameters, and we'll talk about how to save your parameters in a little bit. But from that point I was able to enter parameters manually. You can actually enter some of the parameters that will let you load parameters from the computer if you just don't want to stand here and enter the parameters manually. But I chose to go and enter those parameters manually, and I actually made a mistake while I was entering those parameters, and which gave me a headache for a while, because I couldn't figure out why one of my axes, I believe X, was going backwards. Whenever you pull the trigger or pull the joystick to go let's say in the minus direction, it would go in the opposite direction, and it would mess up a lot of things, because it would, you know, over travel, and it was basically, I was trying to figure out, but I couldn't. And finally, when I asked the question on the forum, someone mentioned that to check my parameters, and I was like 99.9% sure that I entered everything properly, and someone mentioned negative value of the parameter, and I looked, and there it was. I forgot to enter minus in parameters, and as soon as I did that, my axis started working properly. So from that point, I know it was supposed to be a quick story, but it's important. If it happens again to me, I want to know what caused that. So from that point, I had an issue with my turret. Turret would not work properly. If you go into manual mode, where you manually enter commands and you would call whichever tool, let's say tool number 3, it would disengage and just keep spinning, or would go once and engage back in and create an error message, one of these messages, and an alarm. And I started looking into proximity switches. This turret has I believe 6 proximity switches, 4 of one kind, and I believe two more of a different kind, or something like that. So I found a switch that was not working properly. Ordered that switch, realized that I ordered a wrong, after doing diagnostics, still trying to figure it out, realized that there was 2 parameters for those switches, or specs for those switches which are important, and I cannot remember which parameters, but basically there is open versus regularly open or regularly closed switches, two different kinds, and there is also I believe negative, positive, negative versus positive, negative, positive, something like that. So if you ever have to change your switches, you order exactly, if it's possible to read part number or specs on the switch itself, order exactly the same thing as you had. So I spent quite a time trying to figure out my switches. I did find one switch that was kind of working on and off, and I replaced it. Still didn't fix my problem. Only later, again from forum, someone shared parameters. So basically I was missing, I did save my regular parameters, but diagnostics I did not save. I actually did save them, but I didn't realize that whatever I saved was just empty. It was just zeros. So someone shared with me their parameters that had to do with the turret on a similar machine, and once I entered those parameters, bam, everything started working fine. I mean, as far as turret. So from there, the only other problem that I had was the backlash on the x-axis, because I guess my backlash parameter on this machine was inaccurate, even 12-14 years ago. So I did that. It was pretty easy. I believe parameter number 535 through 538 on this controller is for X, Z, Y, and whatever axis you have. So parameter number 535 and 536 were two axes that I have. I just measured my backlash, entered that parameter in a control, and works fine. So before I powered it on and make a lot of noise, I just want to briefly talk about controls, how to power this machine on. This machine have a breaker switch on the back of the machine, but I also have a handle breaker switch on the side of it. So what I first do, well, in my particular situation, what I first do is start my three-phase converter, and then I power my switch for the whole machine, and from there my alarm will go on. Turn the alarm off, this button right here, come here, turn the main circuit board on and the screen on with this button right here, and once it's on, if it's in this position, manual position for example, I turn on my hydraulics, and that pretty much how to turn this machine on. Once it's on, once the hydraulics are on, first thing that I do is zero the machine. So I turn a switch right here, and with the joystick I will, if the machine was previously in home position, I would just go in opposite direction this way, and the turret is going to start moving to a certain amount, and then it stops and goes back and zeroes itself out. Once two of these lights are on, that means the machine is zeroed, and from that point I can start working on it, either enter program or work on it manually. Either way, this machine is probably definitely more suitable for a program type of work versus just a manual. But if you do just if you got bar like this and you just need to take a little bit off of it, You don't really need to go and write a program for it. You can just do it manually. Program would be probably for, you know, parts like some kind of a little bit more complicated parts. I was just making these test pieces. I was playing, trying to remember how this machine operates, this is the pieces I made. But yeah, pretty much from here you would write a program in whatever software you have and enter that program into the machine and hit start right here, and machine will execute the program. So let's go to parameters. I'm gonna start the machine and show where the parameters are. I'm gonna show how to enter the program, how to save parameters, and I think that's pretty much it. I think that's gonna be the most important part. Okay, so in order to save parameters, you can do two ways. One way, obviously, just go into your parameters, which is this button right here, and like I said, on this machine there are two types of parameters: regular parameters and diagnostics. So we are in parameters right now. You should do both saves, both types of saving your parameters. One is take a screenshot with your phone or whatever, and just go down parameters and take a screenshot of every single one of them. And I've got on this machine, I've got from 0 to about 800, then from 900 to 920, and then it skips to 8,000. And actually 8,100. Yeah. And it goes to 8,300, I think. So first thing, what I would do, and what I did, is took a screenshot of all the regular parameters, and then go into diagnostics and take screenshot of your all your diagnostic parameters. What I did 12 or so years ago, I used just a regular method how to save it to your computer, which is you go into parameters. Let's say we want to save regular parameters. We go in here and we would hold end of the block button and press enter. And you will see this little word output. It's just saying that it outputs your parameters out. If you're not going to be holding end of the block, just press enter. It will save your parameters, but it will not save your 900 parameters, which is very important. If your batteries are down, the 900 parameters are one of the first parameters that you enter for your machine start communicating with the computer and stuff. So you do want to save those 900 parameters. So whenever you want, and let me just get my computer ready. For your parameters to be accepted by your computer, by your software, you have to actually press receive in your software, whichever software you're using. So you can't just send parameters to nowhere. You have to have your computer ready and look. You have to have your computer look for parameters. So let me do that real quick. Another thing that I forgot to mention, I think I did forget. So your mode have to be in edit, program edit mode. So right here. In my case, the protection key doesn't matter. So once you're in edit mode, we just saved regular parameters. Our computer looking for another set of parameters, expecting us to send parameters. We're going to go into diagnostics and we're going to do the same thing, except in this case we don't have to enter end of the block. We just press enter, and it's gonna send parameters out. There, in parameters itself, there is a parameter that protects diagnostic parameters from being sent out, I guess. And I think that's what was enabled back several years ago, because when I sent my diagnostic parameters to be saved out, only zeros was saved, and I didn't realize that, and it gave me a lot of headache trying to bring this machine back to life. But I can't remember exactly which parameter it is and where it is, because I was doing so many different things on this machine, trials and errors. I can't remember, but it's not hard to find out on the internet, on the forum, which one of these parameters enables and disables diagnostic parameter saving, I guess, option. So yes, but screenshot would always work. You will see all your parameters on your pictures. So these are the saving options. Okay, so how to enter the program into machine is pretty simple. You just go into program, you can go into library, and you will have your program ready to be sent out in your software, and you just press the input, and you will see this LSK blinking. That means the machine is waiting for a program to come in, and you will go into your software or your computer and hit send, and it will start receiving the program. That's pretty much it. As far as controls, everything is pretty self-explanatory. You have a couple of options to how to control this machine manually. You can either move your axis. Let me go to the position. Well, position, cancel, and position. So you have an option whether to use this joystick, and hopefully you can see as I press joystick, it moves in X and Z direction. You have an option to pick whichever speed or feed rate with the joystick. This is the highest speed for the joystick. You can go low, very small increments. You can also control your axis in this position. It gives you 3 different tens, hundreds, and thousands of increments, and you can just use this wheel to control whichever axis you want. So this is how you control your axis. Spindle, you can turn spindle on manually with this button right here. It turns spindle on, and you can pick a direction in which you want spindle to go, clockwise, counterclockwise. But again, all these things are for manual operation, and manual operation probably not very wise use of this machine. I don't know how to put this. This is a CNC. It's the main purpose of this machine is to run multiple parts, multiple operations. This right here, here's how you change the tool or cord. It comes out, disengages, rotates to the tool you pick. These are the tools, and when you have a program installed on this machine, and you have multiple tools for multiple different operations. Machine does all that for you. You just you will do what's called a dry run. You will do a first test cut or test run of your program, make sure everything works properly, and from that point you just only thing you have to do is change your material, change your stock, or in this case I have a bar, and if I have a pedal right here which releases the jaw, and I can just if I have a stop, or I can make a stop for myself, bring that stop to a certain point, bring this bar to that stop, clamp it in place, and start the program, and just do multiple parts like that. And there are many more other things that you can do, or machinists do with these kind of machines. So I think that's gonna be it for this particular machine. Let me turn it off. So I think that's I know I've covered only small portion of controls or options on this machine, but I think that's more than plenty for me, or for someone who's just got the machine and trying to get a quick start. I think that should be enough. And I think that's gonna be it for the CNC machines. These toys are just gonna be sitting till whenever, and the next project we're gonna tackle is gonna be something interesting. So if you wanna see what I'm gonna have next, my next rebuild, stick around, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.